Okay, so let's be honest, with deer cartridges, you're really good from this one, the 243 Winchester, all the way, well, up to the big boy, the 50 BMG. So there's a lot of options, but in today's video, we're gonna go top five, my personal top five deer cartridges. So come along, hope you enjoy the video. Now, before I go into my top five, I kind of wanted to give you three criteria on how I'm going to be rating these cartridges and why I came up with these top five. The first one is I'm looking for cartridges that are going to have moderate to low recoil. So that kind of eliminates most of the magnums, like you see here, the 300 Win Mag. Certainly it can take deer and it does it very well, but I'm looking for a cartridge that's not going to pound you like crazy. So that's the first criteria. The number two one is I'm going to be looking at cartridges that are short and standard action. So again, that kind of eliminates a lot of the magnums. But I'm looking for cartridges, again, that are going to be moderate to low recoil. And so the short and standard are kind of the way to go. And lastly, this is my top five. This is my personal opinion. Some of you might click away from the video now because I'm going to be excluding anything 243 and smaller. Obviously, the 243 Winchester can take deer, and it's done it a lot of times. But I'm looking for something with a little more power and a little bit bigger bullet. So my calibers I'm picking are going to be bigger than 243. At number five, I have the 6.5 Creedmoor. Some of you might be surprised this is in here, but I think this is a good to great deer cartridge. There's two reasons why I have this on my list. One is it is extremely popular. A lot of people are hunting with it. And while I don't think it's a good elk cartridge, it is a darn good deer cartridge. It's going to have very little recoil. And let's just look at the velocities. So with some of the bullets you might hunt with in that 130 grain area, I mean, you can hand load them up to 2,900 feet per second. But most people that are shooting the 6.5 cartridges are going to be using the 140 grain bullets. And you can get this going 2750. Not sure if I believe that it actually gets 2,800, maybe with a much longer barrel. But yeah, it's plenty powerful for deer, and with the sleek bullet design, it really retains the energy out far. Now, before I reveal the next cartridge, number four, I just wanted to show each cartridge, basically the foot-pounds it has at 400 yards. So the 6.5 Creedmoor with a 140 grain bullet, going max velocity at 400 yards, it's going to have 1,349 foot-pounds, which is plenty. Most experts say you want 1,000 foot-pounds to kill a deer. At number four, I have the 257 Weatherby Magnum. Now, I did say in my criteria that I was going to stay away from most magnums, but this thing is so good as a deer cartridge. It's shooting small bullets at extremely fast velocities. And recoil-wise, this is, I believe, below what a 30-06 would be. So I'd put this at the high moderate recoil, but I think most people can handle the 257 Weatherby recoil. But let's go ahead and see what it does with these bullets. So I'm just going to look at a 110 grain bullet, and you can get this thing going over 3,400 feet per second. Really impressive velocity. Okay, so when you hand load this, I'm using a 110 grain AccuBond with the 257. At 400 yards, it's going to have almost 1,600 foot-pounds of energy. Really impressive performance from the 257. At number three, I have the 25-06 Remington. So another 257 caliber. The 25-06 is what you might think. It's a 30-06 case, neck down to 25 caliber. And it is also a speed demon. And with it shooting such a small bullet, the recoil is quite manageable. a little bit more than a 6.5 Creedmoor, but quite a bit less than, say, a 30-06. So let's just look at the velocities for a 110 grain bullet. Whoops. Okay. A 110 grain bullet. It's claiming 3,100 feet per second. Now I know other handbooks, say like Nosler, say you can get 3,250. So it is going pretty darn fast. Now looking at the energy for the 25-06 Remington, now using the 110 grain AccuBond and hand loading it to 3,250 feet per second at 400 yards, your energy is pretty impressive at 1364, which is a little bit more than a 6.5 Creedmoor, but they're really close, basically the same. At number 2 is, of course, the 308 Winchester. Man, this thing has taken a lot of deer. One word that kind of comes to mind when I think of the 308 Winchester is efficiency. This thing is just so efficient. You know, it holds, I don't know, 10 to 12 grains less of powder than a 30-06, and it's really close to 30-06 performance. It's about 100 to 150 feet per second slower. So let's just look at that performance real quick. So I'm going to use the 165 grain bullet, and it's getting at least 2,700 feet per second. Other handbooks have this thing going a bit faster. But yeah, this thing is extremely good. Moderate recoil. I put this, again, it's going to be more than a 25-06, but it's still not bad. Okay, again, I'm going to be using an AccuBond bullet with the 165 grain, and it's going 2,800 feet per second when you hand load it, and the energy at 400 yards is close to 1,600 foot-pounds. So yeah, it's got plenty of energy for deer. At number 1 is the Jack O'Connor Special, the 270 Winchester. You're shooting a pretty big bullet, anything from, well, most hunters use 130 up to like 150, and you're getting very good velocity. So let me just show you real quick. That 130 grain bullet, when you hand load it, you can easily get it to go 3,100 feet per second. Most hunters use the 130 grain, but this cartridge has also been taking elk, and so a lot of people use 140 grain, which is going 3,000 feet per second, and the 150 grain. In my personal 270, so far, my gun has liked the 150 grain more than the 130. So it's still a respectable velocity of 2,900 feet per second. Let me show you the foot-pounds at 400 yards. So this is with a 130 grain AccuBond, so it's not even the highest BC. So it going 3,100 feet per second at 400 yards, you're almost 1,500 foot-pounds. And that's more energy, obviously, than the 25-06, and it's even more than the 6.5 Creedmoor. So yeah, it's a very good choice for deer hunting. Let me know what you guys think of my list. Did I get it right? Is there some that I missed? I mean, there's so many options. You really can't go wrong. But thanks again for watching. Hope you guys have a great day.